Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pink Shade. It's Tuesday. And so that means we're going to talk about TLC, the Learning Channel's 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After, Season 8, Episode 4, The Boy Who Cried Divorce. I don't like that
Why is it
title.
not the girl? It's
I don't,
Jasmine. I even wrote before I didn't know the title.
yeah.
In my notes, I wrote Jasmine is the Jasmine who called crazy in reference to the girl who cried wolf, the boy who cried wolf.
Oh,
So
okay.
she has called divorce and I'm going home to Panama every episode. But now she really means it, but Gino didn't believe her,
Well,
which is
maybe they're talking about
scary.
Mahmoud.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I was just scrolling through. I was like, who else said they're getting divorced? I mean,
Yeah, that's fair.
you never know. I will apologize in advance if Ingrid pulls any clips from this because this is not my best look. But I went out to the reality gay show, and then I got up this morning and frantically cleaning my home because Matt Mara is coming to stay at my house, and I'm terrified of the judgment of how dirty this house is.
The judgment of the gays can be
The
the
gay
worst
judgment.
kind of judgment. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
he's
it's
very nice.
yeah. I don't think he'll be judgy.
No, he's very nice.
It was really fun. And I had lots of bunkies come up and be like, "Oh, I listened to your show." And I was like, "Thank you. Please follow me on Instagram at Pink Shade Pod."
You should just take their phones. If they say, I want a picture, you go, first, I have to make sure you're subscribed on Instagram.
I know I should do that, but alas, I'm so thrilled that anybody like listens to the podcast or knows anything about it that I'm just like, okay, great. I did my makeup. Let's go. Let's go. And then my daughter, Anna, was there with her friend Savannah, and they were in line to get a drink. And somebody came up and was like, "Oh, are you Mary Payne's daughter, Anna?" And she could lay down and die now. She's so happy. She feels like super famous from it. So
I love that.
yeah, she was really happy about that. You know, it wasn't great because during when I was up on the stage with them doing Seeking Sister Wife, she was yelling from the back, "Yeah, mom!
She was?
Go, mom!"
So she was opposite heckling you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So annoying.
Well, now you get like crazy mom points because most people who have a daughter that age, they would never want to be seen in public with them, let alone anti heckle them. So you get cool mom points.
Well, there were other people there that were yelling out from the middle, like people
Oh,
like to
the
do
drunken fans?
the
Yeah.
drunken audience participation that
Uh-huh.
try to chime in. There was some of that, so at least she wasn't the only drunken yeller in the audience.
Mhm.
Yeah, my husband tried to tell her before she left, like, "You do understand, like, you're going to where mom works, so, like, if you came to my office, like, you wouldn't act crazy or get drunk, so, like, you're gonna be at mom's work, so don't act crazy and get drunk." Well, she obviously didn't hear any of that. So, whatever,
I love it.
whatever. It is what it is if you have kids that age. So that was fun, but I need to talk about how you and I got to meet in person, and we saw each other twice. We saw each other at the Bunkie meetup, which
Mhm.
Kimberly, you guys, is famously has social anxiety. She stayed the whole time. The whole
I
time.
did.
She stayed
I
the
was
whole time.
quite sweaty because I get very sweaty,
I
social
know.
anxiety.
Um, yeah, I get it. And then we got to see each other at Schwartz and Sandy's of all places.
I know, and I was like a fish out of water. I didn't
Yeah.
know what was going on. I'd never seen the inside photos, videos. I don't really watch the show, but it was very cute, and I was excited to just chat with you ladies, except that
Yeah.
they have a 90-minute like time
Yeah.
limit. And
Yeah.
so before we even sat down, they were like, "Okay, if you're staying for the show, you should know that we have a dining. You can only eat for 90 minutes exactly. And then you can go to the bar and watch the show, but the bar fills up." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then they bring the food out like so zippy. And
So
then,
fast.
"You need anything else? Are you ready for the bill?" It's good.
And then if you're like, "Yeah, we're still eating, we're still thinking about it. We might get a dessert to share," like, and they're like, well, you've got exactly 14 minutes left on your 90 because
Exactly.
another group is coming in, so you better get up." I was like, "What? Wow." And listen, they wrote me because I was the one that made the reservation, so they wrote me like a Google thing where you could write a review. So I had some things to say.
Did you?
I did.
The
I said,
waitress was nice.
Waitress was nice. Food was good. Um, things I would fix are the laminated menus that look like an eighth grader did it on their ye old MacBook. I mean, the menus had no differentiation between what was what. It was
Yeah.
just like a list of food.
Yeah.
Because she was like, "Do you want to start with starters?" We're like, "What is starters? Like, which one is a
Yeah,
starter
no,
and
it's
which one
all
is a
in one.
menu?" Because it was like sliders, but you didn't know, is that like
Yeah.
appetizer?
Mhm.
It was just like somebody, like I wrote these notes for this podcast and just wrote them and then printed it and laminated it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So that wasn't great. And I did say that the 90 minutes was, a little much. And maybe they only do that on Vanderpump Rules night,
Yeah.
the show that Sandoval is on, and Schwartz. Sandoval was there. He did walk in.
And Mary Payne snubbed him.
Oh, yeah, that's what happened. No, I just looked over. I was like, there he is. I mean,
I
what am I
think
going to, I wasn't
he
going
was
to jump up.
he was expecting you maybe wanted a picture or something, and instead you just walked by, and to me, that's a snub, and I loved it.
Oh, when I walked to the bathroom, yeah, I
Yeah.
totally walked right by. People were talking to him. He didn't need to talk to me. Now, if Schwartz would have arrived, maybe I would have approached him
Yeah.
because he's a little bit nicer. Although Sandoval probably at this point is pretty nice because he needs all the friends he can get.
Ugh. I think Schwartz is very cute,
He
and,
is.
I watched Winter House, and that's the only reason I know him. So I don't know any of the backstory on Vanderpump if he was horrible. I have no idea. I just think he's very cute and self-deprecating.
He is cute and self-deprecating. He's like, oh, he was just sort of a long time cheater on his wife.
Okay, see that I don't accept.
And
So,
he, his this week on Vanderpump Rules, he said, he goes, I mean, we were married, we were together for 8 years or whatever. He did the math on, or it was like 12 years. I mean, they were together for a long, yeah, probably 12 years. He did the math on how many days that is. It's 4,000 or something. He did the math and he was like, I mean, the amount of times like I kissed other girls, I mean, it's pretty small percentage of
oh
all the
my
days we were together.
god.
He was like, you need to quit talking, zip, just quit. He's like,
I think
okay.
that crush is gone now.
Yeah. He is cute.
Skills.
He is cute. I'm telling you, if you start watching Vanderpump from season 1, you will die at how hot these guys are.
Unbelievable.
And look at them now. But then again, we've all aged in 10 years, so we can't.
I
But
can't judge. Yeah, I
but
can.
all 3 of them have their own bar now. Look at that.
Good for
And I went to 2 of them.
them.
But now I've been to all 3 because I've also been to Tom Tom. So I don't know what that says about me. um, I will say that as we were driving around LA, I was seeing places that I've seen featured on these shows, whether it's Real Housewives or whatever, but I would just scream them out as we would pass by.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, look, Laurel Hardware. Oh, Toca Madera. Oh, Hotel Ziggy. I was just like scream out things as we would pass by. Yeah.
I love it. I'm
Uh,
sure your Uber drivers loved it.
oh, I'm sure they were like, who are these dum-dums? Where are they from? Turnip truck do they fall off of? But we had a great time. If you guys want to hear the whole recap of that, Ingrid and I did that after our dinner with you on the last night we were there. So that was out last Thursday. Yesterday's episode was a Then and Now with Ben Mandelker about my Pain in the Pod interview I did with him in May of 2019. That was really fun. I would recommend you guys watching that video because his background is just a giant picture of my head. So the whole time I'm talking to him, I'm looking at his face next to my face.
Uh-huh.
And he kept turning every so often to like kiss at my face. I was like, this is real weird.
Aw.
It's so funny. So funny. And he's just hilarious. So that was really fun because, when I talked to them then, they had been podcasting for 7 years, which seemed like an eternity.
Yeah,
But now it's been 12.
I know. They are the OGs. People call
Yeah.
us the OGs. They are the actual OGs. Like, I don't think people even really knew what podcasts were when they started.
I wonder when Generation Y started because they were super OG too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember interviewing those guys and they said they'd been podcasting for like 8 or 9 years. I was like, what? I didn't even know it existed that long.
Mm-hmm.
I should revisit that. So that's what was out yesterday. And then this Thursday, Bravo will be Vanderpump Rules in the Valley with Meredith Constant, my weekend co-host. She's been asking, like, put me in, coach. I'm good for Vanderpump. I'm good for Valley. So I said, okay, you can do it.
Do they make fun of the Valley on the Valley?
Like, do they make fun of living in the Valley? No, they love it.
Okay, good.
They've opened bars there. They freaking love it. Are you kidding me?
Yay.
Yeah. How close do you live to Schwartz and Sandy's? How far did you have to drive?
I think it was 20 minutes.
Okay, not bad.
No, but and that was during rush hour. So
Were you able to park in that tiny parking lot with
yeah,
you were? I
yeah.
was wondering if it gets crowded in there, people have to park across the street, I bet. I wonder if they
There
get
was a
towed.
spot right when I pulled in, and I thought, This can't be.
Yeah.
Surely this can't be. There's an actual spot. I'm gonna have to circle for an hour." But I just took it.
What if you came out and there was a note, "You stayed here for 94 minutes." Oh my gracious. Okay, well, let's get started on our recap. Again, it's called season 8, episode 4. The Boy Who Cried Divorce Happily Ever After is what we're talking about. We're going to start with your faves, and that is Ashley and Manuel.
I don't know where you came up with the word faves there because I've never said that.
Well,
But
you like them. You like them.
sometimes I am trying to put my hair in a side tie pony
Yeah,
with
it's
a
cute.
scrunchie
Hmm.
to because that's the look she keeps doing. It's I don't think the '90s should be back, and
Hmm.
so I'm against it for that reason, but also she tries to have a lot of serious conversations with him whilst wearing a high pony with a scrunchie, and it's hard to take her seriously.
All right, while you talk, I'm going to put my hair in a side pony. Go ahead.
Okay. So, he is taking her to the Catholic Church so she can lose some of her inner demons, which he thinks she has a lot of, and the church is called Our Lady of Perpetual Help, which is exactly what their relationship needs. Perpetual help.
Okay, I got it.
Ironic.
Okay, I got it.
That looks good.
Yeah, I mean,
Adorbs.
it's not bad. Go ahead.
So she says the Catholic Church is hella foreign to me. Again, it's ironic. She's talking about hell. A lot of her clients, as a witch, are people with religious trauma from the Catholic Church, which
Yeah.
is hella common for what I've heard about the Catholic Church. Sorry, you're gonna get letters. So they go in and she's just staring around like she's surrounded by aliens. Like
Yeah.
it's not it's
Has she
not
never been inside any church, you
I
think?
don't know. It looks no one it's totally normal, but she is like mouth agape.
Yeah.
So she understands though that if she wants him to respect her beliefs, then she has to respect his beliefs. So she hopes they don't burn her at the stake for her witchiness.
Yeah, I don't think
And
that anymore.
they have to shake hands with like the people in the row behind them to wish them peace. There is no dress code at this church. Like hoodies, jeans, anything goes. It's like the wedding attire at Clayton's wedding in
Y
Kentucky.
yes, yes, just whatever you want. It could be camo shorts, it could be a tux, whatever you feel like. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ashley's like, I shake their hand and I give them peace. And credit to her for not shaking people's hand and saying, I'm a witch. I feel like she usually does that.
You say,
So
"Peace be with you, also with you. Peace be
yeah,
with you, also with you." That's what you do.
I'm a witch.
I'm
Uh,
a witch.
so then we get my favorite thing that's ever happened in all of the 5,000 episodes of 90 Day. Ashley whispers to Manuel, what is that book up there on the podium? And he goes, the Bible.
Again, has she never seen a Bible?
What other book I don't understand.
Yeah, it's the big
It's
Catholic book of questions.
it's the Encyclopedia Britannica,
Yeah.
and I don't understand. So she can feel her eyes bugging out, and he's kind of making fun of her wide-eyed expression. And she says, "All the kneeling and the standing, and then the more kneeling and standing." And he says, "It's good exercise."
Yeah.
And I thought that was very funny. And I also it reminded me of a clip that I am going to send you.
Mm.
Oh damn it, it's too long. Okay, wait. It's gonna be
Facebook.
worth it.
Okay, am I supposed to be opening my phone now to
I'm
look at this?
texting you.
Okay. This is not good for podcasting,
No,
you
it's
know?
totally not. Okay, it's from this episode of King of the Hill where they're looking for a new church, and they keep having to go to all these weird churches, and Hank just has no patience for it. Um,
Okay.
like one, they walk up to the door and they're singing like really happily, and he's like, "Nope," and they just walk away. Um, but this clip that I sent you is him trying to figure out the kneeling. Did you get it?
Yes, am I supposed to play it?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Por Dios Cristo, Señor, ten piedad. Por la Madre.
Okay, you guys, what happens is he stands and he sits and he stands and he sits and then he trips and falls on his face, which is always funny.
He hits his chin. He's kneeling and he hits his chin on the pew in front of him. Anyway, this was also me when I went to Catholic church once because I had to go for a religion class I was taking in college, and
Oh,
I was
cool.
so confused.
But that's cool, though. You got to see different things. Yeah.
Yes, and I didn't take the cracker or the wine,
Mhm.
but everything else I did. I
Body of
feel like
Jesus,
that
blood
would
of
be
Christ.
weird
Yeah.
to take
Yeah.
that.
Oh, if you're a Catholic church, you're not allowed to. I'm not allowed to because I'm not Catholic. And
Okay,
they will say to you, they say at the beginning, we would like everyone to take communion, but of course, if you're not Catholic, not you.
okay.
But they tell you to do this. They tell you to cross your hands over like you're in a casket to indicate you're not Catholic. So they can bless you, but you are not to take body of Christ, blood of whatever. You're not allowed to take it if you're not Catholic.
Yeah,
And nobody would know except for God.
yeah. No, I
Mm,
feel like they could sense the Jewiness coming off of me.
yeah, maybe so.
So the deacon comes over after the service and introduces himself to Ashley, and she explains he moved from Ecuador, she lives in Rochester, and she doesn't say I'm a witch. And I was like, this is going to be great. She's going to learn how to contain herself and not
Mm,
say it. But the deacon kind of prompts her because he's been told by producers ask her what she does for a living.
yeah.
And so she's like, I this is all practice for when she meets his family. And she's like, I work in spirituality, but different than what you do. And that's it. That's what I do. And so then he's like, "Oh, okay." But then the deacon prompts her again and says, "What religion do you work in?" And so then she's just like, "Witch. I'm a witch. I work in tarot and astrology and channeling and reading cards and and the deacon kneels down to the ground because he's like, this is going to be a whole conversation. I
And
can't
also,
I can't
maybe
bend over for this.
he fell to his knees and
I'm
for,
weak at the
pray,
knees.
to pray for her. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah.
Um and he has a big Apple Watch on. Did you notice?
Yeah, I did.
You got to be on time if you're a deacon.
Yeah,
You got to
yeah.
count your steps.
He's not a deacon. He was the priest.
Oh, he said deacon when he
Oh, he
introduced
said deacon.
himself. Yeah. Where would else would I get that? I don't know what a deacon is.
A deacon is usually just sort of like an elder in the church, right? Like my son was a junior deacon for a while. Like it's voted
Uh-huh.
on by the head deacons. But like, I could be a deacon. I mean, nobody would want that, but I could be a deacon because I've been in the church a long time and then you have a role. Like you have
Uh-huh.
certain people that you keep up with and stuff. So the
Mhm.
fact that he was in robes
Yeah.
led me to believe he was a priest, but maybe the deacons in the Catholic Church mean something different. I'm telling you what it means in a Presbyterian church.
Gotcha.
Interesting. I
Yeah,
guess he didn't have that collar on.
that's true. And
Okay, somebody.
the advice he gives them in a second seemed a little shady to me, but we'll get to
Okay,
it.
somebody let us know about the Catholic Church. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm Presbyterian.
So
I don't know.
he's like, okay, so the stuff you're describing is not inherently anti-Catholic, but some of the things there are practices that you mentioned that we frown upon, like palm readings and card readings and things that are on the dark side. And that's because some people equate those things to like God, and there's only one God, and those things are not God. And she's gonna have to stop doing those things if they want their household to hum. And I was
Hmm,
like, it's already humming because that's all they do is just
that's lots of humming in that house.
yeah.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
Manuel asked the deacon, what should we do when we meet her family? And the deacon's like, oh boy, they're going to judge you. If they're Catholic, and I sense that they are, they're going to judge you hardcore. So don't tell them about the witch thing. Don't throw everything at them at the beginning. It's too much, too fast. Let things flow. So essentially, he's telling her to lie. And
Yes,
that's
yes.
not what I expected him to say. But given the Catholic Church's
Okay,
proclivity
all
to
right. Let's yep, zip. Put a zip on that.
the
Let's don't.
letters you're gonna get. I'm sorry, I totally respect all the Catholics that are listening. Um,
Yes.
but there have been scandals. So
I,
they're
okay.
pack
All right.
okay. So
Okay.
they're packing up for the again, mad respect to all of you. So they're packing up for the trip. I'm trying to backpedal.
I know.
I love all your Catholic listeners. Truly. Don't send letters to Mary Payne. My views don't don't uh,
Listen,
represent her
listen.
views.
There have been problems in the Catholic Church. We can all agree on that. But I think that we can agree that anybody that listens to this podcast doesn't agree with those problems and agrees that the problems of the Catholic Church should be fixed. Amen.
Amen. And also
Okay.
any religion. We've had Jews on Dateline murdering people. We have had Catholics, we've had Christians, we've had
Sure.
Mormons, we've
Yeah.
had lots of Mormons lately, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
any religion, anybody, there can be problems.
That's
So
right.
they're packing up for the trip to meet his family, and she's holding up her clothes, and he says, "That one looks like a grandma." And then another one, he says, "You're too old for that one." And I thought there has to be a sweet middle spot because she either looks like a baby or a grandma. So she says, "I can't pretend to be something I'm not, but I don't walk around saying, 'Hi, I'm a witch.' So I don't think I'll do that." And I thought, that's exactly what you do. Are you kidding?
Right.
Witches are like vegans and marathoners. They tell you the second you meet them.
Hi, I do CrossFit. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
So they're also going to see Jonathan, which was just a little nugget, but I think Jonathan is the poor friend that had to sit on the asphalt in the parking lot while they banged it out in the Fuego Cafe bathroom.
I think you're right. I think his name was Jonathan.
And I can't wait to see him again.
He's going
So,
to be like, how's it going, guys?
yeah.
Remember that time you
Remember
did
that
that thing
time?
on camera? Yeah.
Mhm. So they are okay, this is my second favorite thing that I
Okay.
think has ever happened on this show.
Okay.
They're in the car, they're driving to the airport, they're flying into New York City, and he says, "Okay, my family just sent me the address, Newark." And she goes, "New York?" And he goes, Newark?" Because he doesn't speak English.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Newark? Like Newark, New Jersey?"
Uh
And
huh.
he goes, "Yeah, what? No, New York?" And she goes, we're flying into New York City. Our hotel is in New York City. All of our plans are in New York City, and you're telling me your family lives in a different state of New Jersey, which has its own airport called the Newark Airport.
Not that far apart, though.
It can't be that far, but it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And
It seems like production would have checked also.
well, would they have?
I mean, seems like they would have.
I'm thinking of when what's his face was Andrew was like trapped in Mexico
Oh,
because she
yeah.
couldn't get through customs, and they weren't doing anything to help the situation. They were just taping and laughing.
Well, that's true. That's true.
So I have to give Ashley mad props because she's driving on the freeway and she doesn't have a panic attack and she does an ugly cry.
Right.
And that's growth.
Growth.
But she's also just very distracted about the witch situation, the
Yeah.
witch sitch. So she doesn't have the ugly tears at the moment.
I got to write that down. Which sitch. Okay.
So they're still chatting about the witch sitch, and she's like, "I kind of feel like you don't want me to express myself." And he says, "Exactly."
I love Manuel. I think he's hilarious in any language.
He really is. He
Yeah.
really is. So I just can't wait for next week. You're right. I am very much enjoying them this
I
season.
know. I know. I hope you can't hear. I just had to turn my fan on. If the side pony was giving me the sweats. Here, I'll turn it off.
Oh,
Um,
and I'm so sorry. I totally forgot. They had a whole nother scene in More to Love
you
that
love more
was
to love.
so good. And
What was it?
it was a bonus scene where Ashley tells her mom and her sister, "We're going to see a medium to find out if Manuel has secrets." And the mom and so she's like, "So we're going to a medium." And her mom goes, "But Manuel is not dead." And she goes, "I know, but I'm hoping that she can give me some guidance." So the mom and the sister and Ashley go to this medium named Madame Jojo
Okay.
in a spiritual type shop with the crystals and all that. And the mom says, "I'm going in open minded, but I still have my Bible." So the mom knows what a Bible is. Did she not teach
Yeah.
Ashley what a Bible looks like? So
Yeah.
the medium who looks exactly like Gypsy Rose, and it was a little disturbing to me.
Uh-huh.
She and Ashley are both wearing exact the same outfit, black lace, and she tells Ashley, "There's a male that has passed away and wants to say hi." And they are all blown away because Ashley's biological father passed away at 11, and they think when she was 11, and they think that validates the medium. But she literally just said, like, there's a male that has passed. Everyone knows a male that has passed away.
Right. Well, maybe there was more to it. Maybe there was more to love, and you just didn't see it.
Maybe. And then she pulls out like a mini crystal ball, and the mom is freaking out, like, "Oh Lord!" She thinks this whole thing is the work of the devil. And the lady sees a caterpillar in the thing, or a butterfly, and she's like, "That means change." And so Ashley goes, "That's about me and my fiance. He's came here for the K1 visa from Ecuador, and we're having some problems, and he doesn't speak English, and we're doing," like, she tells her everything. And then the medium sees clouds, and she goes, "That means there's tension." And Ashley explains the whole situation, which you're not supposed to do. And then but then the medium really got me. She said, "There's something about his children." Like, she didn't know he had kids. She goes, "He's a pillar in their lives, and he's very important to them, but he doesn't know how to bring you in." And I
Okay, well,
was
that is
like,
interesting.
that is very impressive. And they're all just like blown away. And the mom thinks it's demon work. And she says, there are things in his past that will be an issue. And there's like a tunnel you have to go through. And she says, it's not going to be easy. So Ashley feels very validated. There was no advice given whatsoever. It was just like, you have problems in your relationship.
Okay, well, this segues into what I meant to tell you a minute ago when you were talking about going to church and all that. And how, I mean,
Mhm.
like, her mom's carrying around a Bible. She knows what a Bible is.
Yeah.
But maybe because of the Catholic Church is so huge and it's at the front and so ornate that maybe she thought it was something else. I'll give
Yeah,
her credit for
it looks
that.
like my book that is the complete works of Shakespeare. That's,
Right.
like, literally the heaviest book I own, and I use it to flatten my diamond paintings if they're
Oh, okay.
wrinkled.
Yeah,
So,
that's a good idea.
yeah. So yeah, that's true. It could be just a different size.
But
Also,
what I was, go
big
ahead.
print. Don't they make big print Bibles?
Well,
Large
they do.
print.
They do. This podcast is sponsored by Greenlight. When you're a parent, you'll have your fair share of big talks with your kids, and one of those big talks should involve money, and Greenlight can help with that. Greenlight is a debit card and a money app made for families. You can send your kids instant money transfers, get real-time notifications of their spending, manage their chores, and automate allowance. You can set up recurring or one-time chores. In our house, the way we did it, we set them up weekly, so they would get paid on the next Sunday for what they had done that week. It was really great because you could see their progress, or if they were just totally slacking on a chore, then they could see that they didn't get their $5 that week or whatever it was. And your kids are building financial literacy and independence by learning to earn, save, and spend wisely. The Greenlight app also comes with an in-app financial literacy game called Level Up. You know, kids love a game on their phone. That helps kids build money confidence through videos, bite-sized challenges, mini games, and more. Millions of parents and kids use Greenlight to learn how to make responsible financial choices. So stop putting off the money talk and start putting your kids on the right path. Sign up for Greenlight today and get your first month free at greenlight.com/pinkshade. That's greenlight.com/pinkshade to try Greenlight for free. Greenlight.com/pinkshade. If you're listening to this podcast, chances are you're a fan of drama. But meltdowns, tantrums, and food fights at your kitchen table, that's where I draw the line. Let Little Spoon eliminate mealtime drama for you and your family. Little Spoon delivers fresh, healthy meals and snacks that your kid is going to love for every eating stage. Okay, guys, they have the baby blends. These are little blendable things. The first time you're feeding the baby the food, they're so cute, and and they taste it, and their little faces are so happy. That's when they're starting solids, okay? Then you have the biteables. These are transition to table early finger foods. Then you have the plates. These are the toddler and big kid meals that are free of junk and taste amazing. Even the pickiest eaters will love them. They've got the hidden veggie mac and cheese. They've got the chicken nuggets, and adventurous eaters will like pot stickers, gnocchi, and more. There's smoothies. That's what my little nephew James loved. He loved the smoothies. This is healthy snack time with organic smoothies in the form of convenient pouches. God, I wish they had those pouches when my kids were little. My nephew liked the strawberry banana shake. They also have these take on an old classic, which are called lunchers. These are build-it-yourself lunches like easy cheesy pizza and chicken dunkers. You guys, they're protein packed. The best thing is it comes to your door, you pop it in the fridge or the freezer, and then when you get to that witching hour and things are going crazy in your house, you pull it right out and you've got either a snack or a meal ready to go. Comes right to your door and you love it. So simplify your kiddos' mealtime with 30% off your first order. Go to littlespoon.com/pinkshade and enter our code pinkshade at checkout to get 30% off your first order. That's littlespoon.com/pinkshade to get 30% off your order. So what I was going to tell you that Ingrid and I forgot to say on our recap of our LA trip was we went to a psychic.
Yeah, you didn't tell that story?
We totally forgot. You know why? Because it wasn't on the, I was going by the itinerary, but it wasn't on the itinerary because I surprised her with it, so she didn't know. Yeah, so the psychic basically told us that pretty soon after I got home, which is now, some financial terrible thing would happen to my husband.
Jeez.
So far, so good, guys. So far, so good.
Maybe it involves Matt Maher.
Maybe Matt's going to burn our house down. I don't know. So that wasn't great. Also said that I need to leave my son alone and let him make his own decisions.
Okay.
I was like, well, he's 18 and can't make a decision on college. So
No,
who do you think's paying for it?
An 18-year-old boy. They don't make the best decisions. They need advice.
Right. She said my daughter was going to meet some guy and move to New York. Okay. Let's see what she said. She kept telling me that I wasn't happy in my marriage. I was like, well, you're wrong, because I am. I mean, there's definitely been times that weren't good,
Yeah.
but things are great now. Nope, she didn't believe me. Then she kept doing the cards going, well, I'm sorry, like something terrible is going to happen, like financially. I was like, oh my God. Well, thank the Lord I have this podcast.
Yeah.
Everybody run over and subscribe to
Subscribe
Prime
to
right now.
Patreon. Come on.
Come on. 'cause
Everybody needs it. Something terrible is going to happen.
Going to keep us afloat. And then for Ingrid, she said her one daughter that lives in New York was going to meet a really, really rich guy,
So
she was bringing,
your daughter is going to meet someone and move to New York, and Ingrid has a daughter in New York who is going to meet a guy. I feel like she's getting wires crossed or something.
I don't really know. She was doing the cards, and then she did like the Turkish tea where she turns it upside down and looks at the drip. She did say there was somebody, like a person who had passed, that was lifting me up. So anything bad that would happen, I wouldn't fall all the way down. And she showed me on the tea leaves where my thing didn't go all the way down. That means somebody from the other side is pushing me up every time I almost fall down.
That's nice.
Who is it? I don't know.
Thank you to whoever.
Thank you. Then she kept saying to Ingrid about a young guy. You're going to meet this young guy. And do you get a lot of attention from men, like in bars? Now, you've seen Ingrid, okay?
She's beautiful. She's gorgeous.
Looks like Angelina Jolie. When Kristen Doty met her, she told her she looked like Christy Turlington.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, great. So I'll just be over here, whatever.
You are also beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. And so she was saying, like, do you get a lot of attention from men? Ingrid's like, I don't know. I mean, like, sometimes a guy in a bar will like buy me a drink, but I don't know. I'm married. I've been married for a long time. She's like, yeah, something's going to happen in the next 4 years to your husband. Is he a lot older than you? And Ingrid's like, well, yeah, he's 8 years older than me. She's like, shaking her head like, oh, something bad's going to happen to him. We were like, wow. Then she said, Ingrid's got some other young guy coming her way. And Ingrid goes, well, maybe it's a puppy because we're looking at getting this puppy that's a dog. And she goes, do you have sex with your dog? That's what she said.
She is sassy.
Ingrid's like, no. Then Ingrid goes, maybe, my older daughter has like a guy she's seen a couple of times. So maybe my older daughter's got a boyfriend. And that's what you're picking up on, like a young guy that'll be in our lives. And
you
she's
were
like,
trying to help her out.
And she was like, no.
And she kept shutting you down.
It is you, Ingrid. You are going to get together with some young guy and it is going to be sexual. Ingrid's like, okay, nobody tell my husband, I guess. Because
where did you find this woman?
I don't want to say.
Okay.
But I will tell you that I talked to Doug Buden and told him about this. And he was like, oh, you should have asked me. I've got this great woman that literally, and then he told me the story about when he first met her like 10 years ago, she started talking about there's these birds. It was something about your mother and it's the birds. And he was like, nobody in my family likes birds. Nobody has birds. Like, we're not bird people. Like, we're indoorsy New York people. Like, what are you talking about? She kept going, I don't know, but something with your mother and something about a bird. And it wasn't good. It was a bad thing with a bird. He's like, no. Come to find out, his mother's mother, who was horrible, His grandmother was horrible to his mother. Her name was Birdie. Now,
Shut up.
isn't that wild? He was like, something terrible with birds and your mother. Birds and your mother. Yeah. So he was like, ever since then, like that's who I talked to. She lives in Florida now. He's like, but I could have given you her information. I was like, that would have been great to know before we went and spent $300 on this lady who basically said, I'm going into financial ruin and husband's going to die and she's going to start banging some young dude. I was like, this is not, none of this. But however, we do know Ava, her daughter is going to be rich and live in New York. So we've got that going for
Maybe
us.
she can help after your financial ruin.
Maybe. God. But that was what the psychic said. But what was interesting about this woman, we went to her apartment. So she had on
It's
three.
in her apartment?
Yeah, we went to her apartment. She had 3 stars of David on a necklace, okay, and a cross. And then in her apartment, she had like a Buddha. And then she had koi fish for Happy Persian New Year or something. She had everything. And then she had what's the thing is the mazula, the thing on the door that you touch?
Mezuzah.
Mezuzah. She had that on the door. So Ingrid's like, what's happening here? Like,
She's
you've got
got coexist bumper sticker where it has all the religions in person form.
yes, she said, I believe in everything. I believe. So it's interesting. We were talking about the priest or the deacon, whatever, at the church saying some of these things are similar, but some of them are frowned upon because you
It's the
can be
same.
spiritual,
Yeah.
but not necessarily religious or whatever. But she said that was how she was. She said, I believe in everything. I believe in God, Jesus, Allah, Persian New Year, Buddha, like everything. We were like, wow, you're just throwing everything at the wall
Yeah,
to
see what sticks.
tell us the bad news about our lives.
My God. What
She
a
did say whatever happened financially was going to be temporary. It was going to be
Oh,
temporary.
okay. Okay.
Like a day or like a year
Right.
or like we're old. We can't be financially ruined for a year. We've worked too hard. Oh my God. Well, we can always cash out our kids' 529s and take that college money for ourselves.
I have a good psychic too. I've never gone, but my friend Jill raves on this lady. And
Okay.
no, it's a guy and he's sassy. Yeah.
Okay, good. I like sassy. I just don't want to hear. I mean, I don't mind hearing some bad news, but like all bad news. Although Ingrid's
Right.
news sound pretty good. I mean, not that her husband was going to die, but some young guy's coming. She was like, I just don't think that's right.
Yeah.
I just think that I'm pretty happy in my marriage, but okay.
Okay, so now we have it on the record in
Uh
case
huh.
anything happens in the next 4 years.
Hmm.
We are going to see how right she was.
Yeah. Still got her phone number. She kept going, I'd really like to talk to your daughter. I was like, that's not happening. Unless she can unless she can fork over the money herself. Um, okay. All right. That was a total sidebar. Let's go on to Sophie and Rob the Knob. So Sophie is having poolside drinks with her friends Jasmine, Silvana, Kae, and she tells them about going on the dancing date, doing the 2-step, and so they had a really nice time and went better than expected. And since things went great, she decided she would invite Rob to their pool party, her husband. And the girls were just having 3 chicks sitting by the pool. She calls that a pool party and says she decided to also ask her own husband and also her friend Callum, her best friend who's coming from England. They act like Callum is coming from another town.
Yeah.
No, my best friend, I invited Callum too. Like,
But
what?
we still don't get a real answer on if he came to America because Rob is convinced he came just for Sophie, but she
Right.
says he was coming to America, and she's like, swing by Austin.
Yeah. Doesn't make a lot of sense. And also, definitely, she saw him before this party because it wouldn't just be like, hey, good to see you. Here's Rob. I mean, if she hadn't seen this guy in like a year and it's her best friend,
Right.
she would run up and hug him and be like, I'm so glad to see you. How's your hotel? Da, da, da,
Yeah. Although
But
maybe she's containing herself to protect Rob, but I
no,
don't think so.
I think she definitely saw him
Not
the day
that.
before or something.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, this is not a pool party. It is nighttime, and they are all just not getting in the pool, sitting around in their bikinis.
it was real weird that it was nighttime and they're all in their bathing suits and there's
Yeah.
nobody's in the pool. Everybody's full makeup and lashes
Yeah.
and wigs.
Uh-huh.
Um,
That is kind of an LA pool party. I forget
oh,
it says still seem like they're in LA. Maybe parts of Austin are very much like LA.
oh, I think Austin would be kind of a scene.
Yeah.
So she tells her friends that she does want to work everything out with Rob and she doesn't want people to give him a hard time when he shows up. And Kay says he has to want to change. And I see past his pretty little face that he puts on. And to which I say, Kay looks like a Timu Kyle Richards.
Oh yeah.
She really looked like a Sheen Kyle Richards, just an off-brand Kyle Richards.
She's really trying to rock the tattoos and the two different hair colors.
And she's
Edgy,
very
edgy.
edgy,
Yeah.
edgy. Is she a lesbian or bisexual? It's unclear. Rob seems to think she is.
Who bought the blanket that says "Best friends, I love you to the moon and back" with a photo of Sophie and Kay?
I don't know. It took a lot of work. You had to like go to CVS and like put all those
Yeah.
things into the maker.
Mhm.
So, or it's one of those things like when you're buying like business cards, or whatever, and at the end it's like, do you want to add a blanket for $12? Like,
And
sure.
they just design it for you. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the friends are like, well, does Callum have a girlfriend? And she goes, oh my God, he has a new girlfriend all the time. And they said, did he come just to see you? And she goes, no, I don't think so. He's, traveling. And so I just had to swing by. And then I just said, why are these girls in full bikinis at night?
Mhm.
Rob arrives with his shirt open as if, again, it's the middle of the day and it's hot. He looks great. He says he's been working out. And Rob tells us he does worry Sophie's hooking up with Kay. And now she's bringing over this dude, Callum. Like, why is Callum coming all the way from England? It's big
Again,
questions. Yeah.
you're twisting the facts. If he
Who is?
was traveling.
Oh, yeah, but I think she's going to prove to be a liar face. So Kay says, hey, Rob, how's it going? He goes, oh, good. Yeah, good to see you. And she goes, so, Rob, what the hell's going on with you? And he
She's
goes,
the crap starter.
I don't like Kay.
Mm-mm.
So Rob goes, look, I can admit in our relationship, I was falling short. So I'm trying to show her that I love her by going out of my comfort zone, doing these like nice dates and meeting this dude that she wants me to meet. And then he explains that in his life, he's had this happen where he had an ex that had a male best friend. And then later she ended up being with that male best friend.
Right.
So
I
Kay
have
said,
to give him props because Kay comes at him
yeah,
a little aggressively, which I do get. Like, if you're a protective friend, and I wouldn't want my friend Sophie to be with this douchebag either. Uh,
hmm
but Rob handles it with more maturity than I've ever seen him. Like, if the mom Claire was coming at him, he would have
yeah,
thrown her in the pool. But he's like, this is what's going on, and I'm working on myself, and blah. He handled it so well.
he did seem pretty chill.
Maybe he
Is-
took a pill or
I was
something.
going to say, is weed legal where they are?
Yeah.
I don't think so. In Texas, nothing's legal there except for guns. Um, so he says, okay, so Kay goes, are you just like jealous and insecure? And he goes, yeah, if you want to psychoanalyze it, then sure, probably I am. Yeah. And Kay says, in a marriage, you have to do things for your partner and compromise. And she deserves somebody who is there for her and loves her and supports her. And if that's you, we should all just live together. Come on, Rob. I'm her bestie. We should live together. What?
What?
What? Is she trying to be a throuple now? Because
I
he
already
is,
have a blanket and a duvet, so you
and
don't have to buy Sophie things. I'll do it.
it doesn't say
We'll
throuple on
sleep.
that blanket.
We'll sleep in our bed, and you can have the guest room, Rob.
Yeah, it was interesting. So Callum arrives and he meets everyone. He's very cute. Now,
The
did you notice
music.
that the music? You've got the devil inside you. You've got the devil inside you. The devil.
Shouldn't that have been Ashley and Manuel's music?
Yes.
He literally said, "We're going to church to get the demons out of you."
I mean, I didn't understand this music at all.
It's so dramatic. We need to, if you can find the music person and have them come on the show, where do they find this royalty free dramatic music for every scene?
I don't know. I need to revisit. I'm trying to redo my song for the beginning of the opening of the show, and I found some places and bookmarked it and stuff. But now I don't know what the website was.
Oh,
I have to go back and look for that. So now this is when I say I don't think this is the first time Sophie and Callum have seen each other because it's too casual. So I don't know if she
I
went
need
out and
to
saw him.
rewatch and see what.
If you hadn't seen somebody in years, you wouldn't be like, "Hey, what's up? Grab a drink, sit at the pool party." You'd be like, "Oh my gosh, so good to see you."
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting.
So I don't know if she went out and saw him before he walked in with production, and
Mhm.
that's how it turned from day into night. Like I don't know.
They could have messed up the first shot somehow, and they had to redo it.
True, true. Yeah, that happens
I
a lot.
think they make them do the shots multiple times.
Yeah,
So, and none of these people are actors.
we think. So Rob says, my first impression is he's smug. And like, I probably, yeah, you know what? Yeah, he thinks he's better than me. Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
And it's bowling over into how much I can take because, like, I know Sophie's beautiful, and I feel a weird way about a guy best friend. Like, okay, yeah, yeah, he thinks he's better than me. I'm looking at a snake. He just all of a sudden projects like it's very interesting wording. He thinks he's better than me.
Yeah, that man is so insecure.
Like, I've met people that I think that don't like me, but I've never thought they think they're better than me.
Right.
I just think we don't vibe. They don't like me. I'm too much for them or whatever. Interesting.
I
It's an insecurity he has.
We need to talk to Rob's sister, find out what happened in childhood.
We do. We do.
Was he
S
bullied?
I don't know, because he's so pretty. Maybe he got bullied because he's so attractive?
Maybe he was size beautiful when he was younger and the kids weren't nice about it.
Could be. You never know. Never know. I'm sure we'll find out 4 seasons from now, just like we found out about
Yeah,
Sophie's mom 2 seasons later.
we're still
Uh,
finding stuff out about Jasmine, like why
yeah,
she's the way she is.
pretty soon it's gonna be like, "And she's got 2 daughters." What?
What?
Um, so Callum asked, I mean, he just sits down with the beer and is like, "So, are you enjoying Texas?" That's why I'm saying this is weird. They would have talked
Right.
before. And they both go, "Remember how much we loved Portugal? Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. We would go out, we would like wingman each other." And Rob's like, "Oh, is Sophie a good wingman?" And he goes, "Yeah, actually, she really is." And then talking head, Callum goes, "Yeah, Sophie and I have been best friends for about 12 years, and she's a great girl. She's a catch, and I do want to be sure she's with the right guy. I think it's been a bit rocky with Sophie and Rob, and I know that he cheated, and sometimes he doesn't take into account her feelings. So I want to get to know him better and get to know him for myself." Okay, well, how do you know all that if you guys haven't talked in years?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Well,
So
they text.
they must text. And Callum says to Sophie, "So, how are you doing with Rob? Like, I want some honesty here, man. Like, she's had bad taste in men before, and I don't want that to be the case. Like, if you're going to be together for a long time." And Sophie goes, "Rob, you can answer." And he goes, "Well, we are married, so we are going to be together a long time." And he goes, "Yeah, we're working our shit out. We are." And Callum goes, "She can be difficult. Yeah, we dated for that short period of time. When we first met in Portugal, we were like 16, 17, very young. But, ever since then, it's been platonic." And Rob looks at Sophie and is like, "You could have told me that shit." And Kay goes, "Don't make it a thing." I was like, and Rob goes, "Yeah, you saying don't make it a thing is easy because you already knew about it." And I got to say, Rob is right.
I have never been on Rob's side and I probably never will be again,
Yeah.
but this was bad.
He
You know
asked point
how he
blank.
is.
He asked
Yeah.
point blank, "Did you date him ever?" She
This
said no.
is crazy. And she could have told Callum, "Don't say anything."
Right.
But then there's lies in your marriage. But
And she's obviously already told Kay because he looks at Kay and goes,
right.
"It's no big deal to you because you already knew."
Yeah.
And Kay didn't go, "No, what? I'm just as shocked as you." She just nods like, "I'm
No,
Kay. We're
she
besties."
should have told him. This is shady.
I
Yeah.
agree. So in his talking head, Rob goes, "When I heard that, my mind just went blank because I've been working so hard to show her how much I care about her. And then she didn't tell me about dating Callum like I asked her, and she lied to me." So then Sophie goes over back at the pool party. Sophie goes over and sits by Rob on the couch and cuddles up with him and goes, "It's okay.
Oh my
You're go-
God.
you're going to be okay." And he goes like, "All right," but he's trying very hard. Now, if it was the mom, you're right, he would have lost his shit. But he was like, "Yeah, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go to the bathroom." And he gets up and walks off. Um, and her talking head, Sophie says, "Callum's not really an ex. Like, we never dated or slept together. Like, we were really young." And then Callum says to Sophie, "I'm surprised you didn't tell him. Like, this doesn't give off the right vibe. This is not good." She's like, "Mm." So outside, Rob says, "Yeah, I had to get up and clear my head a little bit and get some air because, like, this makes me think like she lied right to my face. It makes me think like she didn't give a fuck about me." And Sophie goes, "Oh my God, like the last 2 days have been so good, but now I don't know how to feel." And he comes back in. He's like, can I talk to you over here?" Just like he pulls a Bachelor or a Real Housewives.
Can I steal
"Can I
you
talk
for a
to you over here?
second?
Can I steal you for a minute over here?" So what's going to happen? It's not going to be great.
I mean, now he knows how it feels to have
Right.
someone be deceptive
Right.
because he's
True.
cheated multiple times. Doesn't
Hmm.
feel good, does it, Rob?
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
So maybe now they're even. I mean, if that's what we're doing here.
No, this is horrible for a relationship.
Now we're going to go to Nicole and Mahmoud, and I put out a cry to our bunkie Lindsay, that is the wig expert, to ask, "Is it wig?" because Nicole's hair is so severe, but I did notice in the back it is like shaved up, so that definitely is her hair. But
Mm,
then why is it Buster Brown, like the blonde hair in some aspects?
right.
Did she get mad at Mahmoud one night and chop it all off?
I
Or
can't
is what we're
understand.
seeing grown out? Like, it's so confusing.
Or is she using product to make the bangs all piecey and then poof up the sides like a mushroom? I don't know.
I don't understand either. And then sometimes it's like curly in the short, it's like super short but curly. And then sometimes it's super short and like pieced out. So she didn't do it the same
Yeah,
for out. What's the word I'm looking for?
continuity.
Continuity. Thank you. I was about to say continuation. That's not the right word.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. So Nicole and Mahmoud, let's hear about these
Okay, so
people.
they're at Santa Monica Pier, and she's still freaking out because he was gawking, ogling this woman, aka she was in his peripheral vision, and this woman was wearing a hijab, which is how you say it in Egypt.
Oh, that's right. They told us that.
They told us that last season.
Yeah.
So we see this flashback of when he tried to sell that girl a TV last season. 'Cause she
That's when
keeps
she's got the super blonde hair.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's she goes, "Well, he does have a history of being a womanizer." And then we cut to when he asked that woman, like, "Are you gonna buy my TV? How old are you?" That was as far as it went. So
Yeah.
she calls him on the phone and he says, "I'm not coming back. You know, I left everything to come be here with you, and this is how you treat me." Which is like, he didn't treat her that great in Egypt either when she dropped everything to move there.
These
So,
two are such a mess. They are
yeah.
such a mess. It's been one day.
Yeah, it's been literally 24 hours. So she says, "This brings up issues of the past where I did not feel like I was good enough for him." And she says, "I'm aware of my insecurities. I'm not going to work on them, but I am aware of them.
Yeah.
Does that count?"
Yeah.
And then he says, "I took a lift." And she says, "How do you even know what lift is?" And she says, "A left, a left." It was very much like the Newark conversation. And so he comes back and he's just walking willy-nilly across the street, and she says, "You cannot do that. You will get hit by a car. You have to
Yeah.
use the crosswalk." And she's right about that, but don't preach at him like that. So he says, "What she's accusing me of would be so rude. Like, I would never stare at a woman in front of my wife. I might stare at a woman when my wife's not there, but that's a different thing." It was just, I just got here and I'm very homesick for my country, and I saw a woman that was wearing clothes from my religion, and I got excited. So, and I miss
I
my
think
country
it's
so much.
I think it's the same as if I'm driving here in Virginia and I see a car tag that says like Ole Miss. I'm like,
Yeah,
"Oh, look, my people. Hello." And
exactly.
I'm trying to you're always trying to connect with somebody from your home. And I think that was just him like maybe also soothing himself like, "Okay, there are going to be people here that I'm going to relate to that
Absolutely.
look like me."
In fact, I'm sure she probably said that to him. LA is huge and very diverse, and there
Yeah,
are Muslim people here, and you can find a mosque and all of this stuff. And so she should have been excited at that moment. Like, look, I told you, you're going
right.
to find your people here. So, no.
He was not gawking. She just these 2
No.
are just the
So she
worst.
calls him a womanizer, which again, I don't think she knows what that means because he has never done a single thing with another woman. He has maybe texted a woman about a TV, and that's
Right,
it.
and then said, "What are you doing today?" Yeah.
Yeah. Which could be just like, do you have time to pick up the TV?
Probably not. I think he probably that was his way of flirting.
Maybe.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think to be womanizer status, you have
You've gotta be
to
Sarper. You gotta be
yeah, you have
Sarper.
to be Sarper with more women. Not as bad
Yeah,
as Sarper, but like
yeah,
something like that with more women.
yeah.
So they kind of make up, but she says, "I have my eye on you," which is great for a relationship. "I want you to feel at home here, but I'm going to be watching every step that you take."
And he goes, "Okay, keep eye on me, I don't care."
Yeah. So the next day at her apartment, she's like spinning some yarn and like on a big spinner thing.
I was gonna
Uh,
ask you what that was, since you're crafty, I thought you might know.
well, I think that's how you make a thing of yarn, which I can't think of the word. It starts with an S.
A
Sheen?
spool?
No, it's like a different word. I think it's
Uh,
sheen, but it might not be pronounced that way. A skein. Skein, SKEIN. Um, something like that, but I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I just
Okay.
always read it. That's what the official word for like a thing of yarn is. Oh, you're Googling.
I sure am. I'm looking it up because it is a skein of yarn, but I want to see how you pronounce it. Pronunciation. Here we go. How to say skein of yarn. I'm gonna play it. You're not gonna be able to hear it. Let's see. You hear this? You can't hear it.
No,
It's an ad. Skein.
skein.
Skein of yarn.
Skein, skein of yarn.
That's what
Um,
it said after I had to have a loud commercial. Skein of yarn. Okay.
okay, so skein. I think that's what she's doing, but it could be some sort of loom. It's like a circular. Maybe they make circular looms that you kind of, like what a loom is, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
so maybe I'm not entirely sure,
So
but
you do it around that thing in a big circle, and then what do you do? Like then you wrap that circle into a smaller circle? Like I don't because it seemed like that thing was expandable and
yeah, mm, I don't know because
okay.
I just buy yarn at the craft store.
And then he was holding some yarn.
Right. So, like, when you're spinning it so it doesn't get tangled, they make things that hold the other part of it,
Yeah, yeah.
or you would have somebody else hold it. So that did add up that that's maybe what he could be doing. We're gonna get notes from the real crafters. I'm just a
Oh,
wannabe crafter. I
yeah.
have been knitting for, like, 20 plus years, but I don't make my own yarn or anything.
Yeah, somebody let us know what that was because
Yeah.
I was like, Kimberly will know.
Nah, I'm sorry, I let you down once again. So she says, yesterday I got the sense that you want a traditional Muslim woman. And I was like, how did you get that sense? Was it the million times that he has told you that?
Mm.
Or was it something else? But she just got the sense yesterday. And he says, I do want you to cover your body. And she says, I need to be who I am. It's like, how many times can we have this conversation? And he says, look at how much I've grown. You're wearing short sleeves now. You are showing your forearms and you're not exploding into fire in my eyes. So,
Also, her shirt was inside out.
well, maybe it had a logo on it and he made her.
Maybe so. Yeah, because I was looking at that. I was like,
Yeah.
How does he feel about inside out shirts?
Right, he's fine with that if they're covering. But he's like, "Look how much I have adapted. I'm not saying anything about your sinful forearms right now." And so look, like
I
I'm
have to
making
agree with him though.
progress. That's true.
I thought it was progress too. It's like next week a tank top, but this week we're doing short sleeves.
So
Like
slow.
I kind of agreed with him on that.
Yeah. And so, she says this is new information. He would have married me if I was a Christian. I didn't have to convert to Islam.
That is brand new information.
Then why did you after you had known him for like a week?
Yeah, great question.
She says, "I just wanted to make him happy and I didn't really think it was that big of a deal, and then afterwards I found out how restrictive it is."
Yeah,
I, a woman who is almost 40, did not know that Islam was a restrictive religion.
just a quick Google will tell
That's
you
all.
all you need to know about these things.
That is all. And so she's like, I decided to do my own thing and be like Muslim light and like choose my own adventure Muslimness. And he has to accept that. I'm creating my own religion and he has to accept that. I don't think that's how it works because you chose to be in his religion.
You're right. You're right. So she either needs to say, you know what,
I'm in or I'm out.
I'm in or I'm out. I'm in or I can't. Yeah, because she cannot be the religion as religious as he needs her to be. So she should just say, I'm out and I'm not going to be Muslim at all.
And then you can't say anything about what I'm wearing
Right.
because I am not Muslim anymore.
Right. She should float that and see what happens.
Yeah. So I wonder how that would go. So they're supposed to go to dinner with her friends, and she's wearing a dress that is very form fitting. But that's not and it's long to the floor, but that's not the issue. The issue is there are cutouts on her back that show her back skin.
Mhm.
And he calls her a modest and says he won't go to dinner. And I think that's not even what this is about. I think he's still mad about before and that that is not what this is about. And so he says she's trying to force me to become American on day 2. And
I
it's
kind
too
of agree with
fast.
that. I kind of agree with that too.
Yeah, and she took months to get comfortable in Egypt and never really got there. But she thinks that I should be comfortable with like bikinis day 2. So go
Yeah.
slower.
Yeah.
And she calls him crazy and says, "This is my home. I can dress how I want." And he says, "Okay, so go naked." And she says, "This is what's happening. It happened in Egypt and now it's happening here." And he says, "So go get a divorce," which is he is the boy who cried divorce.
Yeah.
And she says, "You always threaten divorce." And then we see another flashback where he threatens divorce when they were in Egypt.
Yep.
But can didn't she not threaten a divorce the night before? She said, "Get on the plane and go back to Egypt if you're going to look at other women." Roll the tape.
They each threaten divorce once in every conversation they have, even if it's over breakfast. It's
Yeah,
just like it's like you're gonna have a naked mannequin in this house. I want a divorce. You're not gonna sleep in the pajamas I brought you. I'm getting a divorce.
yeah.
They're always throwing it out there. Just do it already. Put us out of our misery.
Exactly. So I wish they could go to like a therapist and the therapist would be like, "I don't see this working.
Yeah, me too.
I know that if I continued to see you, I would make enough money to build that in-ground pool, but it's not worth it to me to suffer through this. Please divorce.
In-ground
I will be
pool.
your witness."
Hmm. All right. Well, let's move on to Emily and Kobe. Okay. So Kobe goes to a barber shop. He says he wants his hair twisted and he wants to start dreads. And his buddy Valerie and his other friend,
Wait, but doesn't he end up with braids
he has little twisty braids
in the
on the.
interview? But then in one of the shots, I thought it was braided. I
Oh,
got
I haven't seen that. You mean like braided like corners to the
Yes.
head?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that. Oh, I didn't see that. I did not notice that. Um, he says he wants his hair twisted and he wants to start dreads. Okay. So Valerie and his other friend, and I wrote phonetically down how to spell it so I wouldn't get it wrong. It's Ulysses.
Mm.
Allysius. It's Lucius. Lucius. This is how I spell Uhlooshus. Lucius. Okay. Now I
He's
won't say it wrong.
elusive and delicious.
It's a
He's
combo.
delicious.
Let me tell you what these guys are. Not a fan of American women.
No,
So
they would not talk to me.
mm-mm. So Kobe says he's only there for 2 weeks, so he wants to spend as much time with his friends as he can. And while he's getting his hair done, he says, "Yeah, being with Emily is the best decision I've ever made. We have 2 kids, like I'm very happy." And the friends are like, "So you think probably you'll just come on back here and settle in Cameroon?" And
What?
He's like, "No, I our kids are little. Like, no, that's not going to happen."
Has that ever been discussed
I
once?
mean, and so Alicia says, I think that when African men settle down with Western women, they are very unhappy because the cultures are different. And here, the women have to be very submissive to the men, and over there, everyone has equal rights.
Sucks. For He's
So this
like,
is,
American men can't express their rights. And I was like, you can, we just don't have to listen.
I mean, what? So Valerie says to Kobe, he says, here, the man is the king of the house, and the woman has nothing to say. And you're getting married to an American, it seems like that would be difficult that you would be able to get along as husband and wife because is she naggy?
Oh my God.
Oh,
They need to meet
okay.
Kimberly,
Oh God.
who is also going to marry an African man.
Yeah, that wasn't gonna
And
ever go over well.
Angela. God,
Oh
Angela.
God. Oh, no wonder they think this.
Yeah, it's a baby girl Lisa and Angela's fault.
I just didn't like how he said, here the man is the head of the house and the woman has nothing to say.
That made me sad.
It made me sad.
I'm
So
sure it works for some of the women there, but I'm sure there are some that are feeling unfulfilled and sad.
yeah, I bet that's right. So, no, no, not Valerie. We already talked about Valerie. So he ends with, is she naggy? And Kobe he laughs and goes, yeah, I mean, she always wants to take the lead, and that might lead to some negativity, but I choose not to focus on that. I don't restrict my wife from doing anything. It is a partnership, and we're in it together. We
Yay,
all
Kobe!
golf claps for Kobe. Imagine upgrading your wardrobe with luxury essentials at unbeatable prices. That's right, I'm talking about my favorite. It's Quince. Quince is here to transform the way you shop with a range of high quality items priced within reach. I've told you guys about the Mongolian cashmere sweaters, organic cotton sweaters, washable silk tops and skirts. Oh, they're so cute. They've got jewelry, they've got travel stuff, they've got baby stuff, they've got home stuff. I can't explain to you guys how much I freaking love Quince. I bought two things this week. I bought a little purse and I bought myself some earrings. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Like I've told you guys, go to the bottom of the item you're looking at. They have that chart that shows you comparable brands and exactly what the price difference is. Because they partner directly with these top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to you. Like I said, I recently just got these earrings that are so cute. They're gold. And I'm thinking about buying my new nephew like a little baby sweater. Like so cute. And they also have great suitcases. So indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/pinkshade for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/pinkshade to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/pinkshade. All right, y'all, it's time to upgrade your uncomfortable shapewear. Support for today's episode comes from Honey Love. Whether you're a bride, a wedding guest, or simply seeking everyday smoothing, Honey Love is the go-to for all things shapewear. Honey Love has revolutionized compression technology so you no longer have to feel like you're suffocating while wearing effective shapewear. This is true. I took my Honey Love little power shorts with me to LA. Nobody even knew I was wearing them. They're so comfy. They never roll down, no matter how much you groove on the dance floor or run around LA in heels that are uncomfortable. Honey Love shapewear features lingerie-inspired design details that you want to show off, and they're made with that breathable fabric that keeps you nice and cool. And for a limited time only, you can get Honey Love on sale. You're going to get 20% off your entire order with our exclusive link. This superpower short is helping ladies everywhere sculpt and smooth from your stomach to your thigh. They offer just that right amount of compression, but it's not so painful that you're miserable by the end of the night. You hardly know you're wearing it, honestly. This one little piece has a little booty lifter. You guys know I need it. Boost bands on the back of the thigh give your bottom just a little bit of bump. So Honey Love has more than just sculpt wear. Of course, they have incredibly comfortable bras, tanks, and leggings for everyday support. So treat yourself to the best bras and shapewear on the market and save 20% at honeylove.com/pinkshade. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off. That's honeylove.com/pinkshade. And after you purchase, they'll ask you, hey, where'd you hear about us? And please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Shape your life with Honey Love. So Valerie says, it's not like me and Lucius are trying to discourage you. But for me, when I come home, come home from work, my wife has prepared a traditional meal and made water for my bath. And Kobe just laughs, like, really?
But I mean, Emily is staying home and taking care of the kids.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
either she or her parents are cooking dinner.
Yeah.
Not cooking dinner. They're
No.
just not drawing his bath.
No, and probably Emily would if he asked.
Yeah.
She could also be like, can I get in there too? Because I'm tired.
Yeah. And horny. She's always
And
horny.
always horny. So in his talking to Ed, he goes, yes, of course, Emily can be bossy. But I love her, and I wish my friends would understand I do not live in Africa now. The culture is different. So I'm hoping that Emily will give a good impression to my friends. But, I don't expect her to change.
I'm
And he
so
said,
impressed.
I am too. And he says, my friends have only met Emily on video a few times. They're being quick to judge her. It's not fair. She's a loving person, and her personality is not normal for an African woman. Valerie, who I'm really starting to hate, says 90% of men who leave Cameroon or leave Africa are unhappy. So they come back and they get married to someone of their own.
I love that he's like a statistician all of a sudden. He's like, I have done the spreadsheets and my
90%.
data shows.
90%. So Kobe goes, I don't know why you're so concerned. I wish you would just be happy for me. And I don't really want to think of a situation where it wouldn't work out. Like I'm going to have to come back here, like I'm married to this woman.
Yeah.
And the friends are like, we just want what's best for you. And he says, yeah, I understand.
But he told you he's so happy.
He's
He
so
said
happy. They
it
already
was
have
the
2
best
kids.
decision he's ever made.
They wanna have 5. So, now we see Emily and Kobe
Wait,
going
can I
on a
just say though,
yeah.
last season with them, he had that friend in America who was from Africa, and
Mhm.
he went to dinner with that friend. He
Uh-huh.
came home to Emily like male chauvinist turned up to 11 and she shut it down really quickly, but he like allowed himself to be very swayed by that friend. And
Okay.
now he's standing up to these guys, and I thought that was really impressive. That's very hard to do if you're
Yeah.
standing up to your whole culture. Like,
And they're in the culture. It's not
yeah,
like a guy in Salina, you
yeah.
know? So, now Emily and Kobe are going on a date night, and she's like, "So, first and foremost, like, your hair looks great. How was your appointment?" He said, "Oh, it was really great. It was so great to see my friends and hang out with them." And he says, "How was your day?" And she goes, "Well, my day was the same as any other day, but we're in another country and stuck in a hotel room with 2 kids all day because you had the car and we can't leave." Like, they don't feel comfortable to leave the
Right,
hotel without him.
right.
And, he goes, "Yeah, I understand." And she's like, "Yeah, so, like, we're here to see the country and stuff." I'm like, "You left the whole day." So that's hard because he also wants to, like, spend alone time with his friends, but also he's in charge of these other people, you know?
I wish he could just see his friends at night when the kids go to bed, and then he could spend time showing the family around.
That's a good idea.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, they get some beef that's super spicy, and she's like, "I'm still chewing it." And he's like, "Oh, you're gonna be chewing that till we get back to the hotel." She's like, "Okay."
He's hilarious.
He's funny. Um, and then as he's eating this spicy stuff that's got pepper on it, she was like, "Cover your shirt. You've got a new shirt. Like, I don't want it to get stuff on it."
I didn't like
Um, and he goes
Emily, stop.
and he goes, "I'm fine." She goes, "You just got your napkin in your lap. Like, that's not gonna do anything if it falls on your shirt." He goes, I got it. Like, I'm a grown man. Like, I don't, you know,
Sorry, I had something go down the wrong pipe. I
yeah,
did not like this napkin thing.
I
Yeah.
didn't like it either. And so she goes, "So what happened at the barbershop? Tell me what you talked about with your friends." And he goes, "We talked about guy stuff." And she goes, "Tell me exactly what you said. Every single word. What was said?
Mhm.
What did you say about you? What did you say about me?" And he goes, we just talked about guy stuff. And, it amuses me because my friends have a concern about you and the marriage." And she goes, "So your friends don't like me?" And he goes, "It's not about you at all. It's not about not liking you at all. They have just heard about African guys from this show getting married to white bossy women, Angela
Angela.
and Kimberly, um, and also baby girl Lisa. Don't forget her.
Mhm.
And they're concerned that we won't be happy in the long term." And she goes, "Well, I don't like that because it's like judging a book by its cover. You have to read the whole book." And and then she says in her talking again, she goes, "I do worry about his friends putting ideas in his head." And maybe that's like she's remembering back to what you're
Yeah.
talking about. Um, and at the
Maybe you
table,
shouldn't have told her
well,
and just said
she
we
was
talked.
not taking no for an answer.
Well, he could have said we talked about their families and caught up.
She's gonna see it on TV, Kimberly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Um, at the table, he goes, "Look, here's the thing with my friends. They're just trying to make sure I'm happy." And she goes, "I'm not bossy. I just get shit done."
Oh
He
my
goes,
god.
"That's right." He goes, "That's right." He goes, "I stood up for you and I was defending you the whole time." She's like, "Well, that's great because we're married." But I did like that he said, "I stood up for you and defending you the whole time," because that's true because he was.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
also you did just prove how bossy you are with the napkin thing.
That was a little OCD. That was a little like,
I think maybe when you have little kids, you
mhm.
kind of treat everyone like they're a little kid, including your husband, and it's like he's another one of your kids, so you have to help him put the napkin on and stuff.
You do sort of just like it's like when Jimmy Fallon was the computer tech guy on SNL.
Mhm.
When you come up to the computer, like, "I was just hitting control." He's like, "Move."
Mhm.
And he pushes the person out of the way and it's like, "Da, da, da," and he fixes it. I think that's a little bit how it is when you're mom of little kids. You just like, if your husband's doing something, you can't quite figure out the remote. It sounds like I'm speaking from experience because I am. You just grab it and go, "Give it to me. I'll do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It'll get done faster if I
Yeah.
just do it myself." All right, let's quickly discuss Ed and Liz and the Shynet that was working overtime to not break. Yeah.
So they're at a 4th of July barbecue with family and fireworks. I was kind of hoping he would blow off an appendage, but that's not nice, Mary Payne.
That's not nice.
How dare you think something like that?
Kimberly. Goodness.
So Ed keeps saying, I have to earn the trust of the mom. And he keeps calling her mom. the mom, and
The mom.
yeah, I don't know what the mom is thinking. And so Ed is also back reunited with his mom. Remember the mom who calls him Pony? Pony.
Oh, yeah. I can't listen, I think she's like 95. I'm very surprised that she's still with us. That's
I
not nice.
know. Especially because the stress of raising Big Ed.
Yeah,
That's
and
a
they're in
hard.
San Francisco, and now they're in Arkansas?
Well,
What?
they were estranged for a year because of Liz and him doing this Liz thing, and like the mom did not approve, but now they're all back together, so that's nice.
Remember
Um,
mom liked that girl that they met in Mexico where there was
yes,
a shooting and he had to protect her in the closet or whatever?
yes.
Sorry.
Oh my god.
They had to get
So
under the
she was
table.
nice, that girl. Yeah.
Yeah, she was.
So he gets a plate with two. I think it was two pieces of pie and a steak, and that it was like the size of a cow. That plate was sagging.
It was a problem.
Yeah, but it did appear to be a stronger variety of plates. I did notice that even so the mom asked to talk to him, and the two of them are sitting on the tiniest bench, so they're like touching knees almost. It
Yeah.
was so awkward. And then she says, "I have doubts because of the past. You've been horrible." And he says, "Yeah, you're right. I have been a jerk. And but we did this thing in Florida that was transformable, which is not a word. Um
Glad you clocked that because I was like, "Oh, I hope she picks up on that because I'm too tired to
transformative
write it down."
and formidable makes transformable."
Transformable. Yeah.
Yeah. So he explains we have this new rule that no one goes to the end of the driveway without saying I love you, and that has changed our whole relationship. So if you're looking to get relationship advice from the coaches on Last Resort,
Mhm.
I just saved you thousands of dollars
Okay.
because that's the advice.
Okay.
So maybe that would save your marriage and Ingrid's marriage if in the future when the younger man comes along and the financial ruin.
Maybe. Just do not pass the end of the drive. I mean, Ingrid has a very short driveway, so she didn't have far to go. We have a longer driveway that goes out
Yeah.
of the back of our house, so I've got more time to
Yeah.
remember.
Don't hit that invisible line. It's like if
Mm-mm.
you cross it, something it's terrible.
Yeah.
So, he tells the mom, "Every time I've broken up with Liz, I've regretted it. All of the 50 times I have broken up with her on national TV and called her the SLUT word and like horrible things, I have regretted it." So
Good. Well, that's
I
good.
hope that makes you feel better.
That's good.
Yeah, and the mom says, "Well, I hope he heard my concerns. He does have a tendency to talk, but, I hope he was listening," and they hug, and she says, "I do like your personality, Ed."
Not your
Okay.
face, but I like your
Yeah.
personality.
Yeah, and welcome to the family, and he's, like, happy that he can eat a steak now, and it probably is cold at this point.
They don't get married, right? Because I think they're currently living
I
separately.
think they did get married,
Oh,
but then I remember on Instagram, they actually did get married, but then they broke up.
Liz is a
Oh,
three
There w
three-time loser.
and there's news somebody else broke up who's also a hated member of the 90 Day family who I cannot watch because he looks like a billy goat with his new facial hair. Hate him. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Is it on this season?
No, he hasn't been on for a while, but his
Okay.
mom has been on.
Oh, Colt?
Yes,
Okay.
Col
Ew.
Colty, disgusting Colty, and his, Vanessa, who somehow tolerates him.
Yeah.
He just he grosses me out so much. They broke up, I guess, and now he's on Tinder or something.
Ew.
You
Mm.
remember he was like sending pictures of his peen to everybody?
Oh, every single monkey and everybody has seen it. Nobody send it to me. I will never speak to you again. I have seen I have seen some 90 Day Peen, but not that one, and I don't want to see it. And
Whose have you
the ones
seen?
that I've seen have been against my will.
Whose?
Um Johan
Oh, is
and
it as large as as he
yes,
always says?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And Rosvan.
Oh,
Somebody sent me
interesting.
that one. Yeah, nobody send this to me. I don't want it. I'm not interested. I don't want it. Okay. Speaking of more peen I don't want to look at. Jasmine and Gino.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jasmine goes to a package ship place. She's shipping gifts to her kids in Panama, and in her talking head, she cries and says since she and Gino had the argument about the K1, he's just ignoring her in the house, and she just feels so lonely. That's really sad that he's ignoring her, but he's probably how he just thinks he's right, and he's not going to budge on this, and he's completely wrong.
It's wild
It's
that
wild.
he thinks he's right. Yeah.
So Michelle arrives. That's cousin Dana's wife, Dana or Dana, depending on who's saying it.
Right.
And she has found some sort of fun, like dinosaur mask that the kids really wanted. And she's like, oh my gosh, this is all they wanted. Like she found, whatever it was, she brings it. Then we see some squishmallows and some clothes. And
But why are they like doing all the wrapping right there, taking up the entire table at the shipping place?
I don't know. She just thought she wanted to get away from Gino, and they allowed us to film here. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
um, so okay, so Jasmine tells Michelle about what happened with the K1 visa and the argument, and it might take up for 2 years for her to get the kids here. Michelle says, "We have to get a lawyer," and Jasmine
Michelle
says,
is horrified. She's like sobbing
She's
too.
so upset.
Yeah.
And she says, "We have to get a lawyer. Like that's not acceptable." And Jasmine says, "He won't do it. He says he doesn't have the $5,000." And she starts crying, and she goes, "This is the first time. Like I really want to go back home." And it's 2 to 3 birthdays and 2 to 3 Christmases without their mother. And then they're talking to him. Michelle cries and says, if Gino really wants this to work, he should try everything he can. He's got to do everything to try to get her kids here. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
So Michelle says, doesn't Gino have any empathy for what you're going through about not being able to see your kids? And she says, no, he's just ignoring me in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And Michelle says, I'm going to talk to Gino. And then also I'm going to get Dana to knock some sense into him.
Yeah.
And she says, and Jasmine's like, I don't want you to feel pressured to like get involved or whatever. And she goes, I don't feel pressured. But I don't want you to leave, and I want you to be happy here. I want you to stay. And her talking head, Jasmine says, it's so wonderful to have Michelle's support. She's like my best friend, my only friend here. And maybe cousin Dana can convince Gino to get on my side because I just want all my boys together. And that means my children and Gino and Coco.
I forgot Coco was a boy.
Coco's a boy.
I totally forgot that.
Yeah. I've told you the story here about the boy named Coco that's my son's age. And have I ever told you the story?
No.
It's so funny. So
He's a boy named Coco.
it's a boy named Coco. The parents are the mom is of Spanish descent of some
Okay.
kind. I don't know. And when the kids were playing when John first started playing basketball, so he must have been first or second grade. Okay, little. So Coco had long hair, very long hair. Like in California, all the little boys have long hair, but here mostly they keep it pretty short. So Coco had this long flowing hair and was playing basketball. Was very good. By the way, still very good at basketball. Stayed that way all the way through 12th grade. Very good at basketball. And we were in the car on the way home. It may have been soccer, but I think it was basketball because Coco played on a lot of teams that John played on. He went to another elementary school, but they did a lot of like cross pollination with the sports, with the rec league.
Uh-huh.
So we're in the car, and Dave and I are in the front seat chatting amongst ourselves as adults. And the children should not be listening. And I said, that kid Coco. I go, what is that? His name is Coco? And Dave goes, yeah, that's interesting, right? Like, I mean, obviously, listen, gender norms, whatever. This is 10, 11 years ago. We were like, it's a boy named Coco, but I've never heard of that. Like, really, it's
Yeah.
like Coco, I think a Coco Chanel, whatever. It's a French name. We're having this conversation about Coco. And I was like, yeah. I go, yeah. And he had those like tennis shoes were crazy. And now John's probably going to want some of those crazy tennis shoes, which of course they do. They all want like the crazy tennis shoes now. We're having this conversation. So I go, yeah. I go, I don't know who Coco's mom was. I go, I need to ask because he goes to Waynewood. I need to find out, the mom, what the deal is, with his name being Coco. I was really trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And out of the back seat, John, whose team had, by the way, been beaten to death by Coco's team. Coco, like I said, really good at basketball. John from the back seat, in the back seat with his arms crossed. He's all sweaty because their team had lost, right? He's just seething and seething and seething. And he's like 8 years old. And all of a sudden he goes, stop disrespecting Coco.
Oh my
And when I tell you to this day in our house, at least once a week, somebody says, stop disrespecting Coco.
Oh my God. It's like he who goes against the queen shall die.
It is. We don't talk about Bruno. It is so funny. So I said to John, I go, you guys are 18 now. Do you ever see Coco? Have you ever told Coco that story? He goes, no, because you guys were like talking shit about his name. I go, we were not talking shit. We were trying
No.
to understand it. Like,
Yeah.
what kind of a name is Coco for a boy? Is it short for something? Is his name really like
Like,
Colton and
even
they call him
in
Coco? Yeah.
even in Spanish language, things like if it ends with an A, it's usually feminine.
Right.
So
Okay.
Coco ends with an A. So that's
No, this is
oh, it's
COCO.
not, it's spelled COCO.
Yeah, like Coco Chanel.
Okay. I wonder, isn't Courtney Cox's daughter named Coco?
Yes, and that's COCO.
It's not COCO. COCOA.
Not like hot cocoa, no.
Not like hot cocoa.
So anyway, this was our like we've heard of people that name their dog Coco or like Coco Chanel, like we've never heard. This was our conversation in the car. But the stop disrespecting Coco has
It's like,
been
leave Brittany alone.
yes, please stop disrespecting Coco.
That's hilarious.
I did tell John. I said some day you're gonna have beers at a party with Coco and you're gonna tell him that story.
Totally.
He
Yeah.
goes, am I? Am I gonna tell him that story? By the way, that kid was always such a great athlete. He may be in college now. Can't remember if they were the exact same grade. Okay. Back to Gino. Total sidebar on Coco. So Gino is in some sort of muscle car with cousin Dana, and they're spinning tires like real old geezers. They just
I wrote, this is the saddest middle-aged suburban joyride I've ever seen.
you're completely right. They literally took it up and down the block like, time to wash the car and put it back in the garage. Yeah.
So sad.
No seatbelts look dangerous. So Gino says in his talking head, he goes, yeah, I don't feel good like that we made a mistake with the K1 visa. I feel bad about the way we're communicating. I don't think it was a we making a mistake on the K1
No.
visa. I think it was all on you and you took it all on yourself.
And you want credit for it. You
You
keep
want credit
wanting
for it
thanks
until you
for
fucked
all
it
the
up.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dana says, I'm going to have a talk with Gino, and I hope that he realizes by trying to save a little money, he may have jeopardized his whole relationship. And cousin Dana is so sick of Gino being so cheap.
Seriously. It's probably been going on their whole childhood.
Yeah.
He's like known as the cheap one in the family.
Yeah, totally. So they're cleaning the car now because they drove it up and down the block. And Dana says, yeah, Jasmine talked to Michelle about the K1 issue and what's going on. And Gina goes, oh, yeah, it's a big problem. Yeah, it's going to take 2 years now to get the kids here. And Dana goes, but can you imagine how Jasmine feels? Can you imagine how she feels? Like, wow, like I can't imagine not seeing my kids for 2 years. Gina goes, yeah, I understand. It's too bad, right? Because, I love the kids. We have a great relationship. But, they're her children. And she's putting the responsibility on me. But I think she should have made sure it was right as well. But I don't think she even appreciates what I did. I got her into this country. And then out of the blue, she says, I might not even be fit to be a father because of this mistake. And Dana
That's
goes,
not exactly what she said. It was
no.
because you were showing zero empathy.
Yeah.
That the children would have to wait years to be with their mother. That would made all of America think that you maybe should not be a father.
And when he said that, she said, I'm not fit to be a father. Dana goes, okay, well, listen, that's 2 years. I mean, he gives it no life.
Yeah.
He doesn't say, oh, she's a bitch. I can't believe she said that. He goes, okay, well, that's 2 years. And that's a certain part of the kid's life she's missing, like from 10 to 12 or 12 to 14. These are big years you're missing.
Mm-hmm.
And Gino goes, but just by the way, like otherwise, it would still be 8 months. Well, 8 months and 2 years is a huge difference.
Yeah, you're not proving your point there.
Yeah, and he goes, and that attorney wants to charge us $5,000 plus to do the adjustment of status. And I don't have that money. I spent enough on the wedding, so I'm just going to do it myself. And Dana goes, I don't know, man. There's some things in life you should just spend the money on, and getting her kids over here is one of them.
Yep.
And Jasmine told Michelle she's seriously considering going back to Panama. And Gina goes, she says that all the time. We get in fights and she says hurtful things. And then she says she's going back to Panama. And Dana says, well, I think she's serious because she can't wait that long to see her kids. And, it doesn't have as much to do with you as it does with her missing her children.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dana says, if Gino doesn't say he's sorry and try to fix it and own this, she is going to go back to Panama without him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gino says, I wonder if she's serious this time, because if she goes back, the whole visa process is down the drain. And that would be like the end of the world for me. Okay, so maybe now he's getting it. So we see this dramatic scene of the two of them walking down the street. This was the weirdest scene. They both look like they're walking uncomfortably.
Yeah.
It was very weird the way they shot this scene. But they go into see the wedding photos. We didn't know, are they going to be a therapist or they're going to be a wedding
You
photographer?
called it though.
So they're going through the photos and she goes, "Oh, I was so happy that day. Look at this Gino with no hat. Oh, look at Coco. So happy." And her talking head, she says, "Normally I'm a very joyful person." Well, I don't know about that.
Mm,
I don't know. She
roll the
says,
tape.
"Okay. Normally I'm a joyful person, but I'm so upset and I've got so much stress on me and my alopecia is getting worse and my hair is falling
Oh,
out and I'm really mad at myself for even dreaming I could have a happy life. Like I'm such a failure. I want to go back to Panama, get a divorce, and then I'll have to tell my children it's all over. No happy life in the US. I've failed like all the roles in my life."
oh, that's
Sad.
sad. As much as she's crazy,
It
that's
is sad
sad.
that she feels that way. So now she's really crying in the at the photographer studio and she goes, "Oh, I just feel so different today than I did on that wedding day. So just okay." So she walks out and Gina goes, Hannah, thank you so much for putting this album together. We'll take all the pictures."
Yeah.
And then he chases Jasmine down the block holding the album under his arm. Look, I bought all the pictures, not just the one. See how not cheap I am? So next time on 90 Days Happily Ever After, Patrick and Thais show up, who I completely forgot were going to be on this season.
I don't even did I know that? I don't even remember.
I know either because I have a down at the bottom. We haven't seen Michael and Angela and Lauren and Alexi, and maybe we never will. But
Yeah.
did they sub in Patrick and Thais? Did they get some B-roll from footage with John? I don't know. Um, They are feeding baby Elise. They say they're going to Brazil to see her family so they can meet the baby. And John goes, "Hey, maybe I should come too. Like another brother. The brother could come over there to Brazil. Could you see what's doing over there in Brazil?" And
Okay.
Thais,
Producers setting things up here.
Thais is like, "I can't get away from this guy."
He's like
Uh,
it's like that movie from like the early aughts with one of the Wilson brothers and he like lives with the couple. Do you know what I'm talking about? I didn't see it, but I remember the trailer. Maybe
no.
Kate Hudson, somebody, and it's like you, me, and Dupree. That's what it
Oh,
is. Yes.
I'm thinking about Natalie and Davud and Uncle Bo lives
Yes.
in shed.
Yes.
Yes, Uncle Bo lives in barn.
What is up with
Um,
Uncle Bo? Could he be on The Single Life? I would
I
watch
think he
that.
was on an ankle monitor. I don't think he was allowed to
Oh
leave the
yeah.
property. That he would just run along the fence line. Um, okay. So now Kobe is going to play soccer with his buddies, and Emily once again, momming is like, "Be careful with your knee, baby. You got to watch your knee. Like, you're not so young anymore." And she's joking with him. He's about to go play, and his buddy's like, "You see my problem with white lady?"
Aw.
Oh, Emily, I'm sorry. Quit doing that. Quit doing that in front of his friends. I know you're trying to show that you love him, but just ignore him when he's around his
Yeah.
friends.
Mhm.
Um, Ashley is saying to some friends, I don't know if this is Jonathan, I don't know who this is, but she says he's on his phone 24/7. And he goes, "You don't trust me? Just let me have a social life on my phone." And then Ashley asked the buddy if Manuel is still talking to the baby mama. And we get this
Okay.
dun dun dun, which definitely means it's a fake out and he's not.
Yeah.
Um, but the kids are like 14 and 12. So I mean, it's could be possible he hasn't talked to this woman in 10 years. I mean, you know.
Mhm.
Gino realizes that Jasmine isn't just being melodramatic, and she cries and says this is the first time she's actually considered going back to Panama, and all the other times she was not telling the truth, but now she is.
Exactly.
So guess what's going to happen? They're going to pay for that lawyer. That's what's going to happen.
Exactly.
And
Maybe
Gino's going to
Dane
go
has
back to work. He can go
yeah,
back to work.
ask Dane for the money.
Dan or cousin Dana, depending. Um, at dinner, Nicole's wearing that whorish dress. And she says, Mahmoud is not coming. And they're all like, "What? She goes, "No, he's really not coming. He's really not coming." And they're all like, "Well, we need to meet him." So they're like, What? So they like bust up in the apartment all crunked out. And
No. This
I
is
don't,
gonna be a disaster.
she's like, "I don't know how he's going to act when we all just bust in there."
Some drunk American skanks are walking into the apartment and you don't know how he's gonna react.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
is
It's not,
going to shut down completely.
yeah. He's going to be, "I'm just going to go to the bedroom." He's going to like close the door.
Uh-huh, and
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
cry and pray and stuff.
Yeah. 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 Or he might really act out and push her in a street. We don't know.
You know, he did get very defensive with that yoga teacher that she met, who was very much like kind
Yes.
of anti-Muslim man and like
Mhm.
thought they were very controlling. And he got very feisty with her.
You're right, he did. You're right. Okay. So then we see Rob, and Rob says to Sophie, "Why didn't you tell me that you dated Callum? You got to keep it real with me." She says, "I am keeping it real with you." And then we see Callum saying, "No, I don't reckon Rob and I will ever be friends." And then we see Callum go to talk to Rob and Sophie outside, and that's probably not going to go well either because Rob has been controlling his anger
Right.
a solid 20 minutes, and that's longer than he can normally go.
He's like a jack in the box and it's just going to explode.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's going to be outside talking to the producers. They disrespected me. I don't know why you're disrespecting me. They're disrespecting, talk about me. I'll talk about you. You know, he'll just start like babbling on to the producers.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Lord help me. Well, that is the end of our recap. And like I ask you every week, will you be recapping on Wednesday the show of Dateline that we just saw on Friday?
Yes,
Because
it
I
is.
watched it.
It's an update episode.
Hmm.
We covered the original in 2022 called The Last Ride, and this one is called The Night Time Stopped.
The night time stopped.
Yeah,
Not the nighttime stopped.
The Nighttime Stops,
Okay.
which is AKA morning.
That would be the time night stops.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well good because I watched it in my mind. I sat in my room, I unpacked all my stuff from LA and I watched it because I knew you guys were going to cover it. Thank the Lord you didn't let me down.
No, there are two prison escapes. Well, there's a prison escape
Yeah.
and a going on the lam. So
Yeah.
very
So
exciting.
the story is wild.
It really is.
It's wild.
And I'm excited that this update actually had a lot of new information because sometimes they just tack on like 2 minutes at the end
Yeah.
and we don't really feel like it's worth covering, but this was a lot.
Yeah, it was a very good episode. And you guys, you know where to follow Kimberly and Katie over on @DateDateline on Instagram. And please, as usual, I'm begging you to follow me @PinkShadePod on Instagram. Trying real hard, chugging towards that 10,000.
Oh, can I plug something?
Please, yeah.
There's this thing called Season of Justice, which is a charity to raise money to solve cold cases
Okay.
and get answers for victims' families. And
Mhm.
they're doing this thing called a Jog for Justice, which is like a virtual 5K. I know exercise is nobody's first choice, but
Somebody likes it.
there might be someone out there who's like 5K, no problem. So we have a team for a date with Dateline, and then
Yeah.
all the money goes towards this charity. And you just
Okay.
do a 5K anytime in August and send in your completion time. You can walk it, you can jog it, you can run it, you could do whatever.
Okay, now you've got me with walking it. And how
Yeah.
do you prove it? Do you do like Apple data on your phone or your
Yeah, you could just send it like just a timer or something. I don't know. I don't think anyone cares.
Okay. Well, because I
It's just
probably
about
in
raising
a
money.
week I might walk a 5K when I'm walking these dogs around the block.
That's fine.
Okay. All right. So how do people find that?
Go to our Instagram and the link is in our bio.
Okay.
Or
Click,
on Facebook, I posted about it.
click link in bio, as it
Yeah.
were. Yeah. My daughter used to walk around the house going, merch link in bio. I'm like, oh, that shirt's so cute. She goes, yeah, merch link in bio. Yeah.
Oh, she's whatever that generation is. She
I
a
don't know.
Zennial? What is she?
I have no idea. She's 21. Does that mean she's she's not Gen Z? I don't know. I just know I'm Gen X and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a Zennial. Actually, the X Zennial. It's a combo.
Okay, because you're between the two.
Yeah, it's called a micro generation.
It's too much for me to handle.
Yeah.
Too much for me to handle. All right, everybody, make sure to follow us over on all the Instagrams, and we will see you next week right here to keep talking TLC happily ever after 90 days. Okay, goodbye. Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Crime at pinkshadepodcast.com.